Hello and welcome back to another EVA foam build. This time I am making another bracer. My last one went down so well with my girlfriend that she has asked me to make her one too. So what you're seeing here is me with the template I made from scratch. I modelled it off my girlfriend's arm directly, transferred it to cardboard and then drew around it on the EVA foam you see on screen now. The EVA foam I'm using is actually a 10mm thick floor mat. People use them in sheds and garages and stuff like that. You can get from places like B&Q for quite cheap. So now, just having drawn around the cardboard template, I'm now just taking a cheap snap-off knife and trying my very best to cut through it cleanly. I'm not really sure how much talking I'm going to do in this video. I'm kind of hoping that the video speaks for itself and it's self-explanatory and you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm doing here is every 10mm or so I'm putting a little mark. I'm going to do that all the way around. I don't want to leave the main panel of the bracer plain because I think it's a bit boring. So what I'm actually going to do, and you'll see shortly, is cut lines into it. And there's quite a well-known trick of heating it up to open the lines that you kind of carve into it. So I'll fast forward through a little bit, or I'll cut a bit out and get to the main part of it. So this is what I was talking about in the last clip. I'm scoring lines into the EVA foam. I'm cutting literally a millimetre or two into it. I'm going to do like a diamond pattern all over the face of the bracer, and then afterwards put my heat gun over it, and I'll show you the result of it in a second. So this is me just showing you very quickly the results of it, just the foam just being scored. My lighting's not very good, so I keep turning it to try and catch the light so you can see it a bit better. So here I am running my heat gun over the foam. If you look closely, you'll actually see the foam changing colour. This actually helps also to seal the foam and stop it being so porous. You may be able to see, if you look closely right now, the score lines actually opening up. But not to worry, I will show you the result of it afterwards. So as you can see, those score lines have opened up quite considerably. I really like this effect. I think it's a really nifty trick and it's stopped it from being such a plain panel now. So now a little bit more treatment with a heat gun, this time on the back to warm the whole piece up. This is to help form it around my arm. You'll see in a moment that I pick it up and wrap it around my arm. It's not so hot it's going to burn me, but what will happen is it'll wrap around my arm like this, and once it cools it holds that shape. Unfortunately, it's a little bit difficult to do by yourself. I could have done with someone giving me a hand here, I think. So as you can see, it has taken some shape now. It probably could do to be shaped a little bit more, but it was difficult doing it on my own. I should be able to put some elastic or velcro or something inside there to help it hold that shape and closed around my girlfriend's arm when she wears it. So here I have some, it's either 1 or 2mm EVA foam. I want to add some more decorative elements to it, just to add a little bit more interest. So I'm just going to cut a couple of strips off and add one around the top and bottom of the bracer. It's pretty easy to apply, considering it's just a small lightweight strip. I'm just using a few dots of super glue along the edge, just doing a little bit at a time so as not to get glue all over myself, because I usually do, and more often than not stick myself to it. The beauty of this EVA foam as well is if it's a little bit shorter than you need, you can give it a bit of a stretch and make it go a little bit further. So that's the beginning of it tacked in place, and now I'll just work around and glue the whole strip on. So there we have both the strips cut and glued on. It's really starting to take shape now. I'm quite happy with it so far. Just let you have a look all the way around it. I have done a little bit more work on the shaping of it off camera, to the point it sits on my arm quite nicely without no fastenings. However, I think I'm still going to probably put a bit of elastic in it for my partner. So like an absolute moron, I completely missed recording the final decorative element, the diamond shape you can see there. It wasn't nothing startling. I just cut it out and engraved the diamond with the pattern and glued it on. I don't think I've mentioned, but this is actually a Harley Quinn inspired bracer. Me and my partner are actually going to the Steampunk event called Asylum next month, and one of her costumes is Steampunk Harley Quinn. So she asked me to make this for her. So now I've moved on to sealing it. Same as the last one I made, it is just basically Mod Podge and black acrylic paint mixed together, and I'll apply several coats, letting it dry between coats. I think I did 3 or 4 coats of the Mod Podge and paint mix to get a good solid coverage over the whole thing. I was a little bit concerned that the mix might fill in the patterns and what have you, but it hasn't, I'm pleased to say. So now that that's on and dry, it is just a case of moving on to the paint now. On the last bracer I made, I used regular craft paints, and it was awful. The pigments on them are rubbish, so I went and splashed out a little bit more on what I hoped would be better quality acrylic paints. And I'm pleased to say in this particular instance with the metallics that they were better. I still had to do a couple of coats overall, but it was better than 3 or 4 coats of the regular cheaper acrylic craft paints that I used on the last one. So as you can see, I'm applying a nice metallic gold to the bandings, and I think you'll see in the end that I do a copper on the main panel. I do believe that's 2 coats of the metallic gold painted on now. I'm really happy with it. It's a lot better than having to do 3, 4, 5 coats of the crappier acrylics. So yeah, that's that bit done. Really happy. And just like the last paint, better quality metallic, but this time copper. So here we have it with a couple of coats of the copper applied. It's still a little bit patchy, so I'll probably touch it up a bit later. But now I've got this bit done, I'm moving on to the diamond. It's pretty simple, just 2 of the panels red, and I can, luckily enough, leave the other 2 panels on it black. So as you can see, with only 1 coat of red on it, it ain't come out great. So as you can imagine, it's going to take a couple of coats. Usually these game colour paints are pretty good, but I suppose it depends what you're painting over and what you're painting on. Obviously I've got a black primer, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to cover. So now you're looking at it with 2 coats of the red on, and it is getting better, but I decided to do a 3rd coat. If you're wondering what the flashing is, I'm actually watching TV while I'm doing this, and I didn't realise that it was going to have a flickering effect on my video. I wasn't really paying much attention, to be honest. So I've jumped ahead a little bit in the video to save a bit of time, and you are now looking at, I think, either the 4th or 5th coat of the red applied. The video actually shows it slightly better than it actually is, but I decided to leave it at that and let it have a really good drying session. I'll probably leave it overnight to dry now. As you can see, it's still a little bit wet, but it's a lot better than it was. I think this is more or less the end of the build. I don't really know what else to do with it at this point, but for a quick little job, it ain't bad. I've enjoyed doing it, and it's been a good project. Hopefully my girlfriend will like it. So I'll leave it at that for now and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.